All right, so I just invite you to go within now. Just take a deep breath in as we welcome this new day. And in this time, in this space, I recognize the presence, the one mind, the one heart, the one spirit that I call God. That one divine essence that absolutely is all that there is. I know that this one power that I call God, that I call the divine, that I call spirit, that I call so many beautiful things, is absolutely the life back of everything. For it is the infinite source of good. It is that power and expression of love in this world. And I know that there is absolutely nothing outside of this. And I know that each one of us is connected with this presence, for it has its being in us. We are made out of it, and we are that divine expression, experiencing and expressing life right here, right now. I know that, that this one source connects us, for we are all one in it together. All creatures, all people, all plants, all of everything is absolutely one. And what I know for this morning is that each one of us who is listening here this morning opens up to that divine expression within. We create that small space in our minds and our hearts to just listen, to allow that voice to be with us this morning, to settle into that stillness and silence. We come together as that one experience and expression. And even though we are in our own space, we are absolutely all together collectively in this very moment, in this presence. I know that we listen with open minds and open hearts, that we allow that music and the words and everything else this morning to create that connection with spirit within. And I give great thanks for that, for all the good that is flowing throughout this service this morning, knowing that it is absolutely the divine presence right here, right now. As I release these words to law, knowing that there is nothing more to do than to let them be and to allow everything to unfold absolutely perfectly, absolutely as it should. And please affirm this with me by saying, and so it is.
Good morning. I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. Oh, I wish I could say all the things I should like to say. Say I'm loud, say I'm clear, for the whole wide world to hear. Yeah. Oh, I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the vibes that keep us apart. Oh, I wish you could know what it feels to be me. Then you'd see and agree that every man and woman should be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, yeah. I wish I could soar like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be to find I could fly. I wish I'd sing this song how it feels to be free, how it feels to be free. Yes, I'd sing 'cause I know. Well, I'd sing 'cause I know. I'd sing 'cause I know how it feels to be free, how it feels to be free, how it feels to be free.
Thank you, Robin. That was amazing. What a beautiful song. Good morning, everyone. So lovely to be here with you all. I'm still riding on the energy of the installation from Friday night, and just want to acknowledge that. Just such a beautiful installation. And just want to thank you all for your participation. And if you missed it, we do have the recording on our Facebook page. We were able to record it using Zoom. We were having a few technical difficulties with Facebook, but we did record most of it. Is there for your viewing pleasure if you weren't able to join us. Installation, it's a funny word, but it's really a marriage. It's a marriage between the minister and the community. It's a very sacred thing, and it's such an honor to be with you all in this way and to serve this amazing community. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Thank you to the incredible musicians, Val and Jimmy and Julie, who made it so special, and the board, and to all of you. Thank you so much. So let's begin, as we do every Sunday, by uniting our hearts, by harmonizing our hearts and our minds, taking some deep breaths. And let's say together, placing our hands over our hearts and repeating the words: care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. So all month we've been talking about unchained spirituality, and today, The Truth Will Set You Free is the title. Gloria Steinem said, "The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off." I love that. Sometimes facing the truth can be painful. Yeah. We don't want to accept it. We resist accepting that something in our life just isn't working. And we don't want to admit it. We don't want to admit it to ourselves because in those moments, it doesn't feel so good. So we resist it. We push against it. It's such human nature to resist the very thing that we know will make a difference in our life, that will help us. The moment that I knew that my marriage was over and I needed to leave my husband back in 2014, I felt free because I was finally acknowledging something within myself that needed to be acknowledged, that needed to be honored. I knew that I needed to be true to myself, but I was also filled with anger. I remember pounding my fists and crying my eyes out. I was angry because this was not the life that I had hoped for. This was not how I wanted my marriage to turn out. It wasn't the dream that I had for my life. But I knew what I needed to do. I knew that expressing my truth would bring freedom to my life, even though I was heartbroken and angry. It takes courage to honor our truth. And sometimes there's consequences to expressing our truth, but there's a bigger cost if we don't. And when we speak our truth, we are taking care of our light. We are honoring our light. The truth of who we are is that we are God expressing. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said, "God is in and through every person, and in this indwelling presence is perfect." So this presence within us is the very nature of our being. It's the essence of who we are. Why then do we forget this? It happens to all of us. Our human selves can sometimes overpower our spiritual selves. And then we forget. We forget who we are. We forget that we are more than a human being, but instead we are spiritual beings, these magnificent lights in the world. And each one of us has a unique soul expression. We each came into this existence with a light that is uniquely ours. But we have bought into stories that have told us that we are less than. But the light has always been there. It never goes out. It can never be extinguished. It existed before you came into physical form, and it will exist for eternity as part of your soul. There is this aspect within us, this light that can never be harmed. It's never known pain. It never experiences challenges or despair. It continues to shine. Despite how we behave in the world, despite how we treat our bodies, despite how badly we beat ourselves up, that light continues to shine. It can be painful sometimes and heartbreaking, our human existence. But our spiritual self is always there, gently tapping us on the shoulder, saying, remember, remember, remember the truth of who you are, because that is what will set us free. All of us need these reminders. Being a minister means I have taken a ton of classes, of spiritual classes. I've spent years in training, but I'm no different from any of you. I still forget who I am. I still stumble. I still fall. I still have insecurities. I still feel less than at times. I too have moments when I forget the truth of who I am. We can become so focused on the failures and the mistakes that we've made that we completely forget the beauty and the light that resides within us. But we came here to shine brightly. We didn't come here to dim our light, to feel less than, to hide our greatness. Marianne Williamson says it so beautifully in a passage I know all of us have heard 1,000,000 times, but it bears repeating. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us. It is in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we consciously give other people permission to do the same. So how often do you recognize your own light, your unique soul expression in the world? How often do you take care of your light and nurture your light and give yourself full permission to express it fully in the world? Each time we speak up for ourselves, each time we speak our truth, even though we know our actions may not be received well, and I know many of you are doing this right now, as it relates to Black Lives Matter, as it relates to wearing masks when you're in public, for the safety of all people, many of you are speaking up. Each time we choose to speak kindly toward ourselves rather than criticizing, each time we choose love over anger, love over fear, we are honoring our light. And thus we are free. Even if it's for a moment, we are free. Every single one of us eventually finds our way home to God, that God that is within us. As we begin to awaken, our heart opens and we see the world through a new lens. We begin to be more compassionate, more loving. We're more gentle with ourselves. And we recognize not only our own light, but the light that is in all beings. We know that within our heart that we are all one. It's no longer an intellectual knowing, but a deep knowing within our being. The truth of who we are begins to open like the bud of a beautiful rose in the center of our chest, in the center of our being. Dr. Kristine Berry tells the story of the housework she did as a young girl. One day she met an older woman who'd been cleaning house for years, who said to her, "Girl, always clean the light. Always take care of the light." She paused. I'm not sure what you mean. When you go into the house, the woman said, there's always a large chandelier hanging in the entryway. Get a ladder, go up there with a bowl of water and soap, and clean each crystal. And don't forget to clean the bulb. Make sure you clean the light because no one cleans the light. And if you take care of the light, everything shines. She did what the woman told her to do. And the first time she did it, the couple who owned the house, they came out and said, "What did you do? It looks amazing in here." Dr. Kristine Berry always remembered that experience as a young girl and the importance of taking care of the light. And she states, there's a light inside of each of us that must be nurtured, that must be cared for, that needs to shine brightly. It hasn't been addressed. It hasn't been talked to. It hasn't been loved. Give it the music it wants. Give it the dance it needs. Give it the sunshine it so admires. Give it the stars at night. Your light, that thing about you that shines so brightly that others want to see, needs to be nurtured and loved and cared for. It's been forgotten. We're given this time to really take care of the light to shine. Don't hide your light. Take care of it, nurture it, love it. The world needs you to shine. Such a beautiful, beautiful passage. So imagine not only honoring and taking care of your light, but seeing it in others, in all beings. No matter what harm they have caused, no matter what damage you feel that they have done in the world, they too are finding their way home just as we all are. And what we focus on becomes illuminated even more. If we practice seeing the light in others, the more we will notice it, and we will also see it in ourselves. What if every single person who has hurt you in some way is a great Zen teacher, a master, one who's come into your life to liberate you? What if someone's harsh words or annoying habits or triggering behaviors are simply God in disguise? Here to liberate you from your obsessive thinking and self-judgments and angers and fears and insecurities. Each and every single person is a manifestation of the one power, the one life, the one love that is God. This doesn't mean only the good and loving people in the world. It means everyone. And each person we struggle with, each situation that is challenging, is by divine design. They are our greatest teachers, here to offer us a pearl, a gift that will support us on our earthly walk. Ram Dass said so beautifully, we are all just walking each other home. We are all helping each other to remember who we are. And when we remember, that's when we are free. And then when we have united with the truth of our very existence, that we are the light of God, that we are one with that presence, and that we are perfect just as we are, that's when we are liberated. That's when we are truly free. So rather than choosing anger and fear and separation, as Bertice Berry stated, let's choose to take care of the light. Let's choose love. Let's choose to do what love would do. What a beautiful question. What would love do? When we find ourselves overwhelmed, filled with anxiety, filled with stress in our lives, with all that is going on in the world, what would love do? What would love do? Ignoring the voices in our head that cause us to suffer and separate ourselves from the divinity and the light that we are. John Wilson said, let us learn to be free by learning to live in the light of our true nature, our highest nature. All we are doing is seeking to consciously know that which we already are, yearning to be free from delusion so that we can live in the light of our own truth, our own soul. It is a complete delusion to think that we are anything but a perfect expression of God. And so as you go into the coming week, when you find yourself having a harsh thought towards yourself or towards others, or you find yourself expressing your truth or expressing your light and perhaps feeling some fear around doing that, breathe deeply into the center of your chest. Our breath is so powerful. Use your breath to bring you back to your center. And use the following to support you. So placing your hands, I'm going to ask everyone to place your hands on the center of your chest, over your heart, and to repeat these words out loud after me, closing your eyes if you're comfortable. I honor my light. I honor my truth. I honor the divinity that I am. I honor the light in all beings. And so I am free. So just taking in these words, moving into prayer. So right here, right now, I am knowing that the light that we are, that each of us is both individually and collectively, that we shine our light so vibrantly, so brightly in the world, that any fears, any insecurities that are there, that they melt away as we move into that deeper expression of who we are. And as we do that, we are liberated, we are free, as we express our truth in the world, with our families, with our friends, in moments on Facebook, with our bosses, in our work life, in our relationships, in all areas. We tune in, we tap into that deeper truth of who we are, the light that we are, and we express it fully. And so I am so grateful for this opportunity to remind each of you, to remind me that this is the truth of who we are. That this is who we are, that we are that light. And I am knowing that we no longer dim our light, that we no longer hide our light, that we take care of our light, that we hold our light as sacred. For that is the truth of who we are. And so I let this go and I release it and I trust and know that each one of us, as we walk this earthly walk, that our spiritual self shines brightly and supports us and guides us through this life on this journey. And oh, what a blessing it is to know this truth, to affirm this truth. And so I declare this powerfully for each one of us. And with gratitude in my heart, I let this go, I release it, and know that it is so right here and right now. And we just right here in this moment affirm it together by saying, and so it is.